Aquaba, welcome. I'm Rachel Garbo, a second-year Master of Public Health candidate in Michigan State University's program in Public Health. I'm here to talk to you about hanging up my unused Superman cape at the age of 24. This past summer, I had the opportunity to travel to Ghana for 5 weeks with 13 of my peers and 2 of Michigan State University's professors as part of the Public Health in Ghana Methods for Community Practice program. In Accra, Ghana, or the capital, the group first received about a week's worth of lectures ranging from slave history in Ghana and lessons in Tree, which is a national Ghanaian tonal language, to current health policies utilized in Ghana. A quick anecdote that I must share: one of the trip's leaders, Professor Courier, is quite skilled in Tree. The group attended a football match while in Accra, where a newscast learned of the American who could speak Tree. In the rightmost image, the newscasters may be seen excitedly climbing over the stadium seats to reach Professor Courier for an interview. Professor Courier's blonde head may be seen. We're not sure if she made the late-breaking news that evening, but it was pretty exciting nonetheless. Anyhow, we then headed to Latte, Ghana, a small community a few hours from the capital. Latte is situated on a mountain and has about 10,000 community members. Here's a view of what exists below. One of the main goals of the program is to help students gain experience applying the grounded theory to community-based research. The method is utilized in public health practice to work very closely with communities to identify problems they face as well as beneficial ways to go about addressing them. Overall, the people who the initiatives will be impacting largely guide the process. The group was separated into 4 subgroups, each of which had a different topic to research. My group's subject matter was water and sanitation. Here, the entire group, as well as guides and community leaders, may be seen during a pit stop on a lengthy and, well, quite frankly, really warm tour of Latte's varying water sources. Access to potable water and sanitation continue to be problems in parts of Ghana as well as many other locations around the world. Here, some more of the water sources may be viewed. As you can see, there is a wide variety, ranging from sacred water sources found in the middle image to water sachets and water pumps. The sachets are usually 500 ml packets of water. The pumps do not always function due to the level of the water table or not having been dug deep enough. Rainwater collection was also prevalent when the downpours occurred. Amidst learning about history, politics, healthcare, culture, explanatory models of health, and more, the sense of a burden began to become apparent. This feeling came to be called the savior complex. Now, please note that I'm not referring to DSM's version of the savior or messiah complex. I'm referring to that feeling in the pit of the stomach that makes the possibility of resolving huge issues a potential for an individual. In my specific case, I had this growing yearning to provide potable water and sanitation for all of those lacking such resources and infrastructure. Additionally, this visceral feeling to help people extended to wanting to aid homeless people and anyone else appearing to have a difficult time. Now, a moment should be taken to note that my perception of how people appear when they are struggling is associated with my cultural lens. It is very likely that the people I considered to be having a rough time were indeed not. Regardless, I should have paid closer attention to the packing list, which notably did not include this sentiment of needing to help everyone. This feeling of needing to fulfill the role of Superman was incredibly daunting. My mind was largely dedicated to brainstorming ideas to help alleviate the perceived difficulties of those around me. Here, the Volta Dam with a really impressive approaching storm is pictured. Wearing the Superman cape made me feel as though I were holding back all of the water of the Volta River. Perhaps I exaggerate. Regardless, I felt as though I was acting as a human version of the Volta Dam. This feeling needed to be discussed for obvious reasons. The process of removing my Superman cape thus commenced. I began to realize that I, along with everyone else, am incapable of saving the world. Having developed and co-led the program for many years, Professor Courier and Linda Gordon knowingly sat the group down for a discussion. Notably, I was extremely fortunate to be surrounded by peers who were equally receptive to recognizing and removing their capes. It is this receptivity to change that I find to be critical for the commencement of a life that is not complicated by the impossible burden of working to save the world. Professor Courier and Linda wanted to help the group find a balance between being empathetic or compassionate and operational. The nature of the discussion was very personal, as many of us revealed feeling the weight of the savior complex. They discussed with us the importance of recognizing the impact of feeling as though people need quote-unquote help. Often, when one person decides that another needs help, a divide is formed. The helper assumes a higher, capable position regardless of the truth of the situation. This is particularly dangerous when cultural differences are not understood or accounted for. People may appear to be suffering, but are in fact doing well. This may be evidenced in a prayer camp the group visited. The prayer camp in Ghana is a spiritual and mental care center where people suspected of or diagnosed with spiritual and mental issues may be cared for. Patients may be seen lying on concrete floors with restraints in the form of ankle chains keeping them from wandering off. Under the savior complex, one may feel the urge to swoop in and unchain them, provide them with cushioned mattresses and air conditioning. Out from under the complex, however, potentially a more objective understanding of the scenario may be gained. I'll even go as far to say parallels may be drawn between the prayer camp and mental health hospitals and institutions in the United States. Critically, the parallels drawn do not diminish the human rights issues associated with restraints. The experience does, however, highlight that those problems are not contained in developing countries. In the United States, the restraint issue also persists, albeit in a more padded and concealed form. The issue is in the manifestation of how it appears. The restraints are a local presentation. This is at the heart of the savior complex. We, as in those suffering from the savior complex, do not consider local presentations in the global context. We, again, those with the savior complex, have extreme emotional responses to the unfamiliar, leading us to feel that we must do something to improve the situation. After this discussion, it took a conscious effort to remind myself that it is not my duty to save the world. Subsequently, a less weighted sense of being began to emerge. The view of life is different for everyone. The improvement of quality of life involves multiple inputs, which are incredibly complex and very closely linked. These may be addressed by those who are appropriately culturally competent. Overall, however, as mentioned, the problems are too complex for a single individual to solve. Individuals may help a person or perhaps a small group experience an improved scenario, but this is likely limited and not often sustainable. Obviously, there are some situations in which one person may be very effective, but for problems on the scale of accessing potable water, etc., one person just simply does not cut it. Overall, gauging and evaluating what and who needs help is extremely complicated and complex. Determining that help is needed and implementing services are difficult to do without creating a power dynamic. With this less weighted freedom, I was better able to engage. I was more able to simply be a student and learn from all of the experiences, happening around me. Moving forward, it is critical to remember that we likely have more to learn from one another than we do to teach. Hanging up the cape allows for more energy to be dedicated to interacting with and learning from one another. Mudase Pa, thank you so much, and please feel free to contact me at the email listed below.